It's cold out. I want to get a space heater for my boat. There's no problem with that, right? Not quite so fast. There are a number of things you have to take into consideration when you're thinking about something that on land wouldn't even take a second thought. Hi, I'm Nico Waters, and welcome to the Boat Galley Podcast. Today I'm talking about the balance of power on a boat. Specifically, understanding the balance between the power you have available and the power you need. Today's episode of the Boat Galley Podcast is sponsored by Marmara Imports. Their hand-loomed, fair trade, organic cotton Turkish towels are highly absorbent, dry quickly, fold flat, and are soft and luxurious. They are perfect for life aboard. Use coupon code PODCAST10, that's podcast10, for 10% off any order of $40 or more. MarmaraImports.com. More than a towel. Thank goodness towels don't require electricity. But one of our boatyard neighbors a couple of weeks ago asked, "Hey, I was thinking about getting one of those space heaters to use on board. What do you think?" The weather was getting cold. It was chilly at night. We pointed out, though, that a space heater uses a lot of electricity. And if she was talking about being able to use it away from the dock, she first needed to figure out whether they could power it. Land life in general doesn't involve any of these kinds of considerations. Electricity, generally, it's something we take for granted. It's in the walls. It's available by plugging into the wall outlet or flipping a switch. On a boat, you're responsible for both the generation of that power, the storage of said power, and understanding that aspect of it is key to understanding just what you might be able to use in terms of appliances. There definitely are a couple of ways to look at this whole equation. You could look at your battery bank and your charging options, come up with a daily electricity available number of some sort, and then tweak your usage and toys to stay under that. You could also start by figuring out how much power you want to have available. You want a fridge and a freezer, hot water for showers all the time, Starlink that's on all the time, an Instant Pot, an induction cooktop, all of these and so much more. They all require some electricity, some more than others. Take those numbers and come up with an electricity needed number, and then decide how big a battery bank you need and how you're going to charge it. For a lot of us cruisers, the reality is a mix of these two. There are some non-negotiable items that require electricity, a few things that would be nice, and a limited amount of space and or budget for batteries and charging options. And figuring out that sweet spot, it's a little bit like being on a seesaw and just being able to quickly balance so that it's even on both sides. On Calypso and Mischief, both of our boats, we refuse to run the diesel engine solely to fill batteries. And so we definitely rely on alternative sources for routine charging. There are people who have no problem running the diesel engine on a regular basis to charge their batteries. That is not something we feel comfortable with. Generally, a diesel engine needs to have a big load put on it to be happy, and just running it to charge the batteries with our setup doesn't put enough load on the diesel. We don't want to prematurely kill our diesel engine. Therefore, the size of our power plant is largely limited by the space available for solar panels, because we need to be able to charge our batteries. The length of the boom on Bristol channel cutters makes a permanently installed wind generator a definitely more complicated solution, and it's not something that we particularly like the aesthetics of. Calypso's 200 amp hour lithium house bank offers 180 amp hours of usable power. Mischief's, we've got a different setup on Mischief with 300 amp hours of AGMs, which gives us 150 usable amp hours. Both of these are powered by 400 watts of solar panels. If we want to have more power for things, for toys, we will have to figure out more space for batteries, as well as the kicker, more space for solar panels or how to fill them in some way. One of the fastest ways to doom a cruise, in my opinion, and my definition of a successful cruise, is one that you come back from, you're happy you went, and you would love to be able to go again. But one of the fastest ways to doom a cruise, in my opinion, is to overlook the importance of the balance of power. Figuring out honestly what your must-haves are. You got to size the power plant to at least meet those must-haves. And then if there's additional power available, then you can add some extras. For us, those critical must-haves are things like refrigeration, navigation equipment, lights and fans for down below, which in the scheme of things are pretty negligible, and a water maker. We have added a few luxuries that we can use as power is available. We've got a bread machine, an electric blanket, an electric kettle. But if we have a few less sunny days that don't fully charge the batteries, those are the first things that we don't use. I'm hoping that as we get used to Calypso's power plant and we see where we are after another full year of cruising on that boat, I'm really hoping that we can get a freezer. But we're not going to install one until we are sure that the power plant can support it. So back to those cold nights and heater considerations, and we actually ran into our boatyard friends not too long ago, a little bit further south, and they had actually gotten a little space heater. And then they figured out that it uses a ton of electricity, and they were having trouble with their charging of their batteries. So that space heater is just taking up a little bit of space for them right now. They don't have a way to power it. What we have figured out is that an electric blanket is a great, not high power usage that can give you some nice warmth. And if we've got plenty of solar or we've been running the engine to move the boat, it's been a great addition to life on board as this weather cools off. But I can't wait to share an anchorage with you when you've figured out your balance of power, and we have too, and we can just toast to our incredible good fortune at being able to live this incredible lifestyle. Thank you so much for listening to the Boat Galley podcast. Our goal at the Boat Galley is to make boat life better, and we hope that we've done that for you today and in other podcasts. I hope you have the most spectacular week.